To be able to diagnose the problem of Kenya in this interview, we will not do justice to it.
Well, highlight a few things.
So I'm going to give you the broad picture. Things are difficult in Kenya, but they are not as bad as you've described. I think.
We'll see the feedback on Facebook.
I think you've been reading the social media too much.
No.
But
yes,
we have a situation that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
And that situation is not out of control. I can tell you that, yes, we can deal with the problem of hunger in our country. It's unfortunate that we dropped the subsidies on agriculture inputs, and by so doing, lowered the productivity of our farmers. It is my very strong belief that the very first thing that we must do is to sort out our agriculture. How do we do it? One, we need to put in resources to make sure that we enhance the productivity of our farmers. That productivity of our farmers, whether you're talking about milk, whether you're talking about tea, whether you're talking about coffee, whether you're talking about sugarcane, maize, wheat, rice, enhancing productivity is the way to go. And we have all the planks in place to enhance the productivity of our farmers, because it is through enhancing the productivity of our farmers that we can produce food in enough quantities, be able to lower the price of those quantities, and be able to make sure that every Kenyan can afford a meal. As a result of the economic challenges, you said correctly, brought about by COVID, but again, brought about by an economic model that doesn't carry everybody, because of trickle-down economics. Fewer people are included in the economic cycle, and the majority are left out. And that is why we are proposing, the team that myself, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, and many other Kenyans lead, are proposing a bottom-up economic model that puts money in people's pockets.
And that takes me
and it is an innovation, and it is a realization that even in this country, they believe that the trickle-down economic model hasn't worked.
Okay.
I heard Joe Biden 2 days ago say exactly that.
I hear that, Deputy President. So that brings me to your moniker, the Hustler Nation. How viable is that? And for people who probably don't know what the Hustler Nation, it's like you wanted to say you started.
Chief!
Out there, hustling to make ends meet. But a lot of people don't buy that either. They feel that you've been in a political, path for a long time with former President Daniel Moi. So you've been able to make some money. You've been able to do okay. And a lot of people who are hustlers, they're people who can hardly put food on the table or have 2 meals a day. And so how do you, what's your vision of this Hustler Nation? How are you going to build that up for people who can't even afford a meal a day?
The Hustler Nation is about an economy, and it's about an economy that works for everybody. The Hustler Nation is not about rich people versus poor people. That's not what it is. The Hustler Nation is about a nation of possibilities, a nation that gives equal chance to every citizen and provides a ladder for every citizen to climb up the economic ladder. And if you listen carefully about our proposals on the bottom-up economic model, it's about the people who have no jobs. How do we create jobs deliberately? How do we put resources where we can deliberately create more jobs so that we can get people off the streets into work?
Give me some samples of that, because it's your vision. How do you do
For example,
yes,
in our Big Four plan, we had a whole program on social, low income, low cost housing. It wasn't about the houses, it was about the jobs. And for your information, we got close to 4 trillion Kenya shillings of commitments of people who are ready to partner with the government of Kenya in that program. However, and unfortunately, that program hasn't taken off because we have been busy doing the BBI and the rest of it. So these are deliberate programs. The second item is to make sure that the 10 million odd people who are in the micro, small, and medium enterprise space who today have no access to credit. They pay as much as 1,000, maybe 2,000, sometimes 3,000% a year, while corporates pay 10% a year. So it's about access to credit for small business. It's about access to inputs for farmers. It's about access to opportunities for young people. That is what this is all about. That is what bottom-up is all about. How do you get the people at the bottom of the pyramid who have jobless to jobs? How do you get people at the bottom of the pyramid who have no access to credit to access credit?
Let's get
How
on.
do you get our peasant farmers to access
for a long time, Deputy
resources
President,
and inputs?
Corruption has been endemic in Kenya, and you know that. We've seen, millions of shillings taken, and I was going to take one of your ally now, Governor Waiguru, but she didn't, make it for this interview, because when she was the devolution cabinet secretary, 95 million shillings disappeared, and part of it was a big scandal. Part of that was used to buy condoms. I mean, and then even though she left that position and vied for, a county governorship, that money has not been found. We never heard anything about that money being found. And I'm not only pinning that. What I'm talking about is there has been high-level corruption in Kenya. How do you counter that to make sure this kind of money you are looking for, to bring back the economy, to put money and food on the table of Kenyans, can be found? How are people going to be held accountable for this? And where do you get back that money from?
Esther, you have said it. Corruption eats away the soul of our nation. And our proposal on dealing with corruption is not to point fingers. It's not to personalize. It is not me versus you. It is ensuring that we institutionalize the fight against corruption. Corruption should not be a tool for political contest. Corruption should be a fight to protect the resources of the Kenyan people. And our proposal is threefold. Number one, there is absolutely no reason why the Judiciary Fund has not been operationalized. There is absolutely no reason why court cases take anywhere to 15 years. Whether it's corruption cases, whether it is disputes. The first item that we are proposing as Kenya Kwanza is to make sure that we operationalize the Judiciary Fund that is in the Constitution. There is absolutely no reason.
If you get the top seat, you're
talking about fighting corruption, right?
Yes. How do you plan to act swiftly? What do you need to do to act swiftly to make sure that even the cases that have been pending, the money that disappeared, can come back?
The Judiciary Fund is something that can be operationalized within the first 100 days. That will give financial independence to our judiciary so that our judiciary can discharge their mandate in accordance with the Constitution. Make sure that the people who pilferage corruptly public resources are not only held to account, but speedily so. The second item is to ensure that investigations and working on cases is worked on by the independent institution, and that institution must have financial independence. Today, the IG, the DCI, and all the investigative agencies in the criminal justice system have to wait for resources from the office of the president because they do not have an independent
Deputy President. I know because
appointing an independent accounting officer.
Yes.
So an independent budget to an independent institution, it's already in the Constitution.
Yes.
It is not any invention you are going to make. That way we can hold everybody to account. And lastly,
yes,
we must have an accountable executive by making sure the oversight responsibility of the legislature is not compromised in any way.
So
today,
we're almost wrapping up. So I want
compromised.
Yes, I want you to get
seriously.
Into, yes,
because of the confusion there is between who is in government, who is in the opposition. Nobody is nowhere.
While you're here in the U.S., and I hope you can make this as brief as you can, there were claims that you made of possible rigging of the upcoming elections. And your idea of whether IEBC is independent or it's not, give us a thought on that. Should we trust the results of the upcoming elections? What is your take? Because there was stuff written about what you said. You are kind of concerned that there could be possible rigging of the upcoming presidential election. Make it brief because our time is running out.
We have confidence in the ability of the Independent Boundaries, Electoral and Boundaries Commission to run a credible election. We have absolutely no doubt in our minds that without interference, the IEBC have the capacity to deliver on their mandate.
All right.
That's number one. But when you